For most of my life, I've always been the tall kid, the tall, awkward, slim kid that was mostly taller than most of my other students and peers. And I had a lot of hobbies that weren't really that actively physical, until I got a little bit older, towards closer to my teens when I started doing flag football and basketball. And basketball is by far one of my favorite sports that I've ever gotten into because, again, I'm tall and it's so awesome being tall because you just reach over everyone. You can do whatever you want. It's so awesome. And so basketball has always been one of my favorite sports of all time. And the way I got into this sport is also one of the best ways I think anyone, as a fan of the NBA and of the people that are in the NBA, could ever get. And so back in 2018, 2019, I had not really been a sports fan. I was like, oh, this is my favorite team, this and that. I never really had a concrete player or an association with the team. So I never really was like, oh, this team, I'm with this, I'm with that. I just more or less got into it and saw that these players are really good at what they're doing at this sport that they're playing. And then one of them in particular really stood out to me, and his name was James Harden. One of the best players I think I could ever watch on an offensive scoring perspective, because he is the absolute best, I think, when it comes to just running an offense and being a scorer. He had most often so many times where he'd average a 30-point triple-double, and at one point even had it to where in a month he was averaging a 40-point triple-double. And I think it goes to show that he was probably one of the best offensive scorers we've ever seen. And I think it's crazy to see that how in the NBA, as time goes on, people become better at the game. People are, take a step up. And we've had that just recently with Bam Adebayo scoring 83 points just about a month ago or over a month ago. And it's crazy the time we're in, where players are getting so good at the game, and also not being as retentive as they used to be, or as the longevity is what I'm trying to say. Holy shit. But most players nowadays don't even really have the longevity to stay in the sport like most OGs. I mean, LeBron is 41 years old, and he's currently just beat and I was going to segue into that, but dude, LeBron's 41 and he's playing absolutely well, while we have most people who are younger, and of course people around my age who are on, load management, who are dealing with injuries, coming off injuries, or can't even play a whole 65 games or the whole 82 games and aren't even eligible for awards. And it's weird how we're in that time where it's like we've inflated the points, the scoring, and the offense, but then also kind of deflated in longevity and defense, because now it's just more about scoring. Like defense, you can be good on defense, and that maybe be a highlight for you, or maybe be like a thing for you, like a niche. Like, oh, this player, he may not be the biggest or the best on offense, but he's a good defender. And so it's crazy that we're in this time. And so I was also going to segue that, because not only is James Harden my favorite player, I also love, and this might sound like the biggest rage bait, like troll thing ever, and I promise you it's not. I will explain. My other favorite player besides James Harden is Joel Embiid. And of course, the reason I really love Joel Embiid is because he's one of those players that's like a Shaq chassis, where he's a big man, he's very tall, he's over 7 foot, and he's able to just dominate wherever he's at on the floor. Like he doesn't even have to be in the paint. He can be in the perimeter at the mid-range and be an absolute monster and a beast at it. In fact is, he's a big man, 7 foot plus, 300 plus pounds, and he's playing like a guard. That's almost absolutely unheard of, besides obviously Victor Wembanyama, but he's very slim. He has it better on his side. He can be more agile. He doesn't really have to worry about so much weight being distributed to his legs and then injuries and all that. Joel Embiid is literally just came off an appendix and is playing like an MVP. It's absolutely crazy the way Joel Embiid plays and where he goes at and his potential. And again, James Harden and Joel Embiid, my two favorite players. You couldn't believe me. You couldn't believe my eyes. You couldn't have witnessed how you saw me when I heard that James Harden did get traded to Philadelphia back in 2023. And holy shit, I was like a dream collab. It was like fucking Winchester. It was like Supernatural and Scooby-Doo combining. It was like fucking beautiful. It was like a dream come true. And so obviously we know what happened. They got into the semifinals or the second round and lost to the Celtics. They had a 3-2 lead and then they lost, and Joel Embiid, while played part of the series, was ultimately out because of injuries and I think surgery, and so it was up to James Harden, and so he was doing quite well. He had spurts throughout the series, and then including that one where he got a game winner and got like 45 points, and he was doing very well. and then kind of dropped off the next 2 games. So unfortunately, when it comes to these players, at least my 2 favorite players, they seem to kind of drop off after they get to a certain point in the playoffs, and it's unfortunate. But again, there's so much talent in the NBA, I can't really blame them. But why am I even talking about this? Fucking 3, 4, 5 minutes, however long the editing and all that, and however far we're in the video. But why am I talking about this? Because obviously by the title, the NBA playoffs are here, and holy shit, they've actually been pretty interesting. If you haven't caught up with the NBA, if you haven't been watching the NBA, we're currently in round 1 of the playoffs, or in the playoff tree. I'll have that up right now. And currently, we have a lot of interesting games and a lot of series that just I wanted to cover on, because I know I don't really talk about basketball, but it was definitely one of those where it's like, why not talk about it? I like basketball. Some of y'all may like basketball. And honestly, this channel is really just kind of I don't want to say conundrum, of a variety, a spectrum of different topics and videos. So I thought, why not talk about the NBA playoffs? I'd be able to probably rant about it and actually make a decent video on it about it instead of just, some other videos. I'm still trying to get the Lego Batman video together, because that one, I want to be able to make a good video out of that. So, Jiggy, I got you. Yeah, the NBA playoffs are here, and by God, it is actually very interesting. Now, we're just in the first round. And already has teams been playing their hearts out, and we've been seeing some amazing plays and highlights by all teams currently. And so, first topic, obviously, is Philadelphia, the 76ers, beating the Celtics. That's the first time they've beaten them since the 80s. That's the first time that we've seen this in our lifetime, in our parents' lifetime, most likely, that the 76ers actually beat the Celtics in the playoffs. I have been alive for 24 years, and that has not happened in my lifetime, or even a lifetime before that. So this is actually a very pivotal moment for the 76ers as an organization, because they've been pretty much, the rivalry has been pretty much the 76ers and the Celtics, because always when it comes to the playoffs, when you get deep into the playoffs, especially round 2, because that's what they're known for, is the infamous 76ers versus Boston Celtics matchup. And all the time, do they lose in the second round, and it always damages Joel's career, and it always hinders it, and there's always been a feud. They have finally beaten the Celtics for the first time, and for the first time in a Game 7. This is literally like everything that this team would want and more, including the fact that it was fucking Paul George's birthday, so he was definitely playing his heart out. He was not wanting to lose on his birthday and be fucking in Cancun on the same day of his birthday, so I don't blame you, bro. I don't blame you. So, big shout-outs to 76ers. They've done absolutely well as a team to advance to the semifinals, or the conference semifinals. I believe that's what it is. The second round, at least. Happy for them. Lakers. Holy shit. LeBron is 41 years old, 42, and he is currently playing at a level that most kids that are my age and younger can't even play at, or at least play at. It's actually crazy to me. I'm not the biggest LeBron fan. I just grew up just knowing LeBron was in the NBA and was just good. So I didn't really have a gauge to be like, oh, he's this because he's currently playing. You can't really say so. The absolute best of best in everything, if he's still kind of currently playing, because, there might be more to his resume, or he might drop off in his resume. Who knows? But LeBron has always just been I recognize and know he's a very good player, all-around talent player. He's definitely top 5 all time. I cannot argue that. But he's 41. He is old. He's old. Better shape than me, unironically, and I fucking play basketball and do a lot of shit. It's absolutely crazy the way that this man's longevity has carried him into the league, and how far it's brought him, to the point where, like I was going to bring up earlier, this man just beat a team where none of the players on that team, the Houston Rockets, not one of their players was born when LeBron entered the league. Besides Kevin Durant, not counting him, fuck him, love him, but he does not count. Whole Houston Rockets team was not even born when LeBron entered the league, and he just beat them in the series at 41 years old. That's fucking crazy. It's just the fact that this man is old. He is twice my age, damn near, twice the age of many active players in the NBA, and just beat a team that wasn't even born when he was in the league. That's crazy. I don't know how much I can more to say to elaborate, rather than that it really is crazy coming from a 41-year-old who doesn't even have Luka, who doesn't even have Austin Reeves. They're currently out. I'm actually amazed and surprised for LeBron, because he's had some stints where he has some talent, he has this, and it's like, if they seem like they're doing well, they don't get that far in the playoffs. This is one of those where it's like, holy crap, LeBron might actually bring an edge to this team and bring them further than maybe last year, and just in a good spot, in a better spot. So that's crazy. Lakers beat the Houston first round without Luka or Austin Reeves. Crazy coming from LeBron. And that leaves us off with one last team, because I'm not going to talk about the Magic and Detroit Pistons, whatever the fuck. No, I don't care about them. They're their own team. All I'm going to say is they're two underrated teams that are doing very well in the NBA, coming out of nowhere. Everyone, as far as I've known, has always made fun of like smaller teams like the Hawks, fucking Pistons, Magic. So it's actually crazy to see that they're playing at a very high level in the NBA right now, or in the playoffs right now. They're currently going into Game 7 as well. We got another Game 7 on top of two other Game 7s, or another Game 7. So crazy coming, like good stuff coming from not only the Orlando Magic, but the Pistons. Good stuff to both of them. They're fighting very hard. And that leaves us with one last group of players and teams. It is the Cavaliers versus the Toronto Raptors. This is a crazy one. They are both racing the they're both racing the conference semifinals, and it's absolutely crazy because both teams are playing their fucking hearts out. Of course, the Cavaliers, having one of my favorite players, James Harden, being on the team that just came off in this offseason, or just recently, is, I think, a decent fit for the Cavaliers. I think when played well and actually at a good pace and momentum that they would probably want to be at, they would actually play very well, and I think they could get pretty far into the playoff tree. Unfortunately, though, the Toronto Raptors are fighting back, and they're doing their absolute best to make sure that doesn't happen. And they have been playing their hearts out as well. They came back. I think it was, if I can remember correctly, it was like 3-2 or 3-1. They were up, and now the Toronto Raptors have pushed it to a Game 7, playing their hearts out. Scotty Barnes, R.J. Barrett, they're doing awesome. And it's actually unironic, or not unironic, it's actually kind of ironic to me, because one of my favorite players after Harden that I was seeing coming up from like high school to college to the NBA was Zion Williamson. And who was Zion Williamson? Who was his classmate in Duke, and like who did he play with, and who also went in the NBA? R.J. Barrett. Two classmates of Duke that got into the NBA. And Zion Williamson isn't even in the playoffs, but R.J. Barrett is. I think that's actually kind of funny to me, because I love Zion Williamson. I think he's one of my favorite players that I actually got to watch come from high school to college to the NBA. I'm getting old. But it really, like, absolute love that player. It's funny to me that his actual classmate from Duke got into the playoffs and he hasn't. But all around, all these teams, they're fighting hard to get into the second round. Obviously, Philadelphia got into the second round. Lakers have gotten into the second round, and another conference that I haven't really spoken on much because I didn't even think about it. But not only that, we've had two other teams. We've had the Lights. We had the Minnesota Wolves advance to the second round, beating the Denver Nuggets, which I also thought was crazy to think as well, because obviously they have a superstar talent back there, Nikola Jokic. And he's been playing at a high level as well, and he's had a great team around him. But unfortunately, the Minnesota Timberwolves overtake them and actually beat them without Anthony Edwards and I think another player. And so they seem like they're doing very well, and they can get, again, far into the playoffs with their cats and their team, and the fact they don't even have their starters as well. I think that's going to be interesting. Obviously, the Knicks beat the Hawks. I mean, I don't think there's much need to be said on that. That was not really a surprise. I don't think any of us were waiting for the news to come on and be like, Hawks beat the Knicks for sure, right? No, that did not happen. I think anyone here is surprised also. Shout out Hawks, though. Actually, fuck them. They traded Trey. What the fuck is with the Hawks? What are they doing? How are they even in the playoffs? We don't know. But I think, yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah.